Welcome to Office Hours. I am Steve Drost. With me, as always, Will Kaplan. Of course, Will and I are both from the Quivr team. Now, what is Quivr? We are the CRM built by financial advisors for financial advisors, and our objective is simple. How can we help you run your business at peak efficiency? And each week, we tackle a couple of cool items that came directly from our users who are trying to do just that, make their lives a little bit easier. Will, one thing I love about Office Hours is we get people from small firms to big firms and wear all different hats, right? And this week we had a woman who is responsible for onboarding employees. And she's like, look, I feel like there has to be a better way. She holds up her little legal pad and says, I'm onboarding 2 employees before the end of the quarter and I have to do all of these things. There has to be a better way.
And that onboarding process is such a checklist driven process because you've got like the stuff that we need to do for the firm and the stuff that we need to do for compliance and the stuff that we like. There's so many little things. And like, what a great example of, all of us having kind of some of the same issues in the same way that like we do a lot of the same work when we serve clients. We do a lot of the same work when we bring people into our firms.
I mean, and I would argue that onboarding an employee and onboarding a new client, they are fundamentally the exact same thing, right? When you onboard a client, you have this laundry list of information that you need to then do the paperwork that you need to then do the transfers, right? You have all of this laundry list of just repetitive, very, honestly, I think very boring things we have to do, but onboarding an employee is the exact same. So why don't we just take the Quivr functionality and repurpose it for that? And it should work.
And it's, we have all these compliance tasks that we, associate with the firm record. This is no different. Like you just want to create that. Don't let me forget any step. I need to turn on their email. I need to turn on their phone. I need to, requisition them a laptop, like whether it's again, a small firm or a big firm. You've got that list of things that you sort of have to do each time. It's the same thing like to your point with a client. I don't want to forget to do one of these things. And maybe I want to be able to split some of these tasks apart between different departments. Like what a great use for Quivr's functionality.
And one thing that I was like, we already have the content inside of the community teaching her how to do this. It's just going to use different words. And the 2 masterclasses that are already in the community that I think apply directly to this is first the onboarding, the perfecting the onboarding process. And then the second one is mastering on the business tasks. And why I think those 2 apply is the perfecting the onboarding process. Just like onboarding a client is never the same, onboarding an employee may not be either. And what I mean by that is when you onboard a client, yeah, you need their social security number, but you might not be doing ACAT transfers. You might be doing ACAT transfers. You might be doing, a retainer fee. You might be doing assets under management fee. So what's going to happen when you onboard that client is you have the core, maybe 80% that you do for everybody, but then you have that a la carte data or that those a la carte tasks that need to be completed. And we walk you through that in perfecting the onboarding process for clients on creating those workflows, right? The core workflow you do from everybody. And then you have that a la carte where you can say, yes, I'm doing transfers for this client. I need to kick that workflow off. Yes, I'm doing a retainer fee. I need to kick that off. And when you onboard these employees, it's kind of the same because an advisor is going to have different access and different requirements for licensing, for example, than a CSA might, or a partner might, or a marketing associate might. So what you're able to do is copy that onboarding, perfecting the onboarding masterclass, and just apply it to, rather than different types of clients, different seats inside of your company.
Yeah, I think the only thing to be mindful of for for people that are listening is depending on how Quivr is set up for you, by default, we want, everybody to have access to client data, right? Like, that's kind of one thing that just goes across the firm. And for employees, often that's a little bit different where you want to sometimes, protect some of that data, redact some of that data. I don't want, Steve to be able to see my address because he's going to show up on my front lawn, holding a stereo above his head, like stuff like that. And so you want to just be mindful about what you're putting into the system versus where it's, with a client, typically you're trying to get all that data into the system so that everybody has access to it. I think this is a good case where, addresses as an example, maybe social security numbers from B2s and stuff like that. Like you don't necessarily want that in the system, but you want the steps of gathering that data in the system so you don't forget it. I think that's probably the only kind of like one of the only like technical distinctions between those two processes. But yeah, it's, I mean, what a great, like, how would I go do this and then, be able to sort of adopt these other process, adopt the stuff that we're already doing, but just kind of change some of the toggle switches as we go to make these a little bit different.
And even with the maybe potential challenges, the different challenges you face, right? The W4s, I-9s, all those documents, it still fits the process. Because remember, inside of workflows, you have the ability in that task steps box to put URLs, to put things like that. So what you would do in that case is instead of attaching the W or whatever those documents are to that task, just toss a link inside of the task steps, and the instructions to the employee says, click this link to download the file. Fill it out like this. Step 2, fill it out like this, or whatever. And then step 3, click this link to upload the completed file. That way, that link takes you to your document repository where only the people that need access to that data have access. So there's ways to get around that, but not decrease the efficiency or decrease the easiness on your hiring team, but then also the actual individual themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I think one of the clever ways to do some of this stuff is, to your point about like, I want to assign this new employee this particular task, this particular thing to do. I can assign it to myself inside the system. So like if I'm the HR manager and I want to assign it to myself, it's going to create that task in the system. And then I can just go in and reassign, like I can change who it's assigned to and drop in that new employee's information. And so even if it's something where like maybe they're not on a team yet, it's really early, or they're just not quite into the system, you can still direct tasks to them in kind of a one-off way by taking ownership originally of that task yourself in the workflow. And then as Archer goes and creates those tasks, just reassign them to the right person. So you're right. I mean, there's a lot of ways to kind of creatively get around some of the challenges that we face in terms of protecting information or trying to get the right people, trying to get this task to the right person. Like there's great ways to do that, but this system is I mean, it's kind of an ideal way to do this.
Yeah. If I mean, my planning firms, we're not hiring, we're not growing, obviously, so I'm not going to do that. But I mean, the Quivr team could be growing, and if it is, I don't know if Ashley listens to these or not, but Ashley on the Quivr team, I hope she does listen to this one because I could see her creating this workflow because we all know she's going to be the one that leads that process for us.
Right.
But no, that's a wrap. Good stuff today as always. And I love these conversations at office hours because I know there were 7 or 8 other people in addition to this woman who asked that question. And at least 5 or 6 of them are going to hire in the next year. So it'll be kind of cool to see that little question that they had of there has to be a better way get adopted, not only by that person, but also those other firms. And now the people that are listening here. So again, remember, join us for office hours on Wednesdays where we can help you with similar items. If you're not a Quivr user, that's okay. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. But remember, it's not too late. Schedule a demo. Come hang out with me. Come hang out with Will and see what Quivr can do for yourself.